Isn't it strange when sometimes you take a couple of underrated sets and put a build together with simplest of skills and rotation, and a pleasant surprise awaits you at the end? Well, this is the story of a build which was born as a result of one simple change to a particular skill in Magplar's kit, and things were never the same again. Hey everyone, Monk here, and today I bring you my Magplar build for solo and veteran dungeons, which with simplest of rotation can do more than 70,000 DPS and has absolutely unlimited sustain. This build, very similar to my MagDK, is also based on using heavy attack as the spammable, because after MagDK, Magplar is truly the only class to make the most out of Empower buff, which increases the damage of light and heavy attacks by 40%. Sounds interesting, right? Well, in next 6 to 8 minutes you will see how easy and effective the simple Magplar build is. But before I jump into the build, if you are new to my channel and you like the build or it helps you with your gameplay, then please make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any future videos. Also, if you have any questions or suggestions about the build or video or both, please put them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And now we start with the stats and then we move on to the gear section, followed by skills and rotation. As always, my Magplar is a Dunmer. The extra stamina and fire resistance, along with the option to switch between mag and stam, is a very good choice. If not Dunmer, then High Elf would be my next recommendation. However, you can make this build work even with Bretons or Khajiit. So we have about 18,000 health and 36,000 Magicka with a very healthy 15,000 stamina pool. Having this extra stam is really a game changer when you are specifically doing solo content like arenas, or world bosses, or even the veteran dungeons. Our self-buff spell damage is at about 3.4k and penetration about 6.2k, which combined with elemental drain goes up to 12.3k, which is the max penetration you need for most arena and dungeon bosses. I have seen some people recommending Lover as Mundus Stone for extra penetration, but trust me guys, it's an overkill and waste of Mundus Stone. Even for a low CP player, you don't need more than 12,000 penetration unless it's veteran trials. So we are using Shadow as our Mundus Stone. Now as you can see, our crit is not very high at about 54%, and using Thief to bump up this number doesn't help either. After testing between Mage, Thief and Shadow, I got the best results with Shadow. For the food, I'm using Arteum pickled fishbowl, which absolutely is the best food for this build. But if you find it too expensive, then you can also use melon baked parmesan pork, which has slightly less stats but is completely fine to use. For the potions, we are using standard spell damage pots, and that should pretty much wrap up the stats. And now let's check out the sets. As usual with every single solo build out there, this one is also centered around Ring of the Pale Order. Now the first set we are using is Undaunted Infiltrator, which can be found in Arx Corsinum. I understand that this is a very unusual set for a Magicka build, but trust me, when you will see those juicy 55,000 plus heavy attack ticks melting bosses and adds, it would be really beautiful. And also while you're farming for this set, don't forget to pick up the Medusa jewelry and weapons. My Magblade build uses that set, and you should definitely check out that build if you haven't already. I'll leave a link in the description below. The second set is Infallible Aether. This set can be found in Craglorn trials and is really easy to get, considering you can always find a group farming these trials in Craglorn zone chat. Now for the monster set, we are using one piece of Zaan, and if you don't have that, then you can also use Ice Heart. Both sets give 1 part crit bonus, but with Zaan we can also use 2 pieces of the set when we are in veteran dungeons with a healer and no longer need the Pale Order ring. If you don't have Zaan, then you can also use Maw of the Infernal. Damage is almost same and works completely fine. Now to arrange all these sets, we are using a medium chest of Undaunted Infiltrator with 1 neck and 1 ring, both transmuted to Bloodthirsty, along with a Ring of Pale Order, which is also Bloodthirsty. Then we have 5 pieces of Light Infallible Aether on body and 1 heavy head of Zaan or Ice Heart. For the weapons, we have 1 Precise Inferno of Infiltrator on the front with the Shock Enchant and a Maelstrom Inferno staff on the back bar with an infused weapon damage glyph. All the armor pieces are divine with Magicka glyph and jewelry with the spell damage enchant. And now I'll go through the skills and then we'll show you how easy the rotation is. On the front bar we have Inner Light, obviously to give us major prophecy and extra mag, which in turns buff our heavy attacks. Then we have Puncturing Sweeps, but this skill will never be used. The only reason it's here because as long as we have an 8-trick ability slotted, our crit damage is increased by 10%. Next we have Solar Barrage, the one skill around which this whole build is designed. After casting the skill, you get the Empower buff for 10 seconds, which is the duration of the skill. So as long as this skill is up, we'll always have 40% damage buff to our light and heavy attacks. This is just 10% shy of what Mag DK Molten Armament gives, but this skill gives a second damage buff also, which is Minor Sorcery, increasing our spell damage by another 10% for 20 seconds. It's one of the rare buffs which Templar has access to, and it more or less makes up for the 10% deficit from Mag DK's Molten Armaments. Next skill is Mystic Orbs, one of my favorite skills in the game when it comes to deal with trash mob. The amount of damage it does per second is insane. And last skill on this bar before ultimate is Purifying Light. Think of this skill as a merciless proc on a Night Blade. It stores all your damage done for 6 seconds and then releases a part of it which can also crit. I have seen this skill critting for over 65,000 and that is a huge boost over DPS every rotation. For ultimate we are using Ice Comet, deals a lot of damage while passively providing us with extra mag, and this is our primary ultimate when dealing with trash or even with the bosses. The back bar is fairly simple, with Race Against Time for minor force as well as on demand speed buff. You can also use Trap here if you want, and then we have Harness Magicka, our main shield as and when needed. Next we have Elemental Drain to debuff the enemies with Major Breach as well as to get resources back from light and heavy attacks. And then last we have two main dots, Spear Shard and Unstable Wall of Elements. Both the skills deal a good part of our DPS as well as help others in the group with their resources. For the ultimate we have Crescent Sweep here slotted, which I personally only use when I know I can't get another full Ice Comet before the boss will be dead. The cast time on this skill makes it so painful to use and do a bar swap after. And now I'll show you the rotation. After a feedback from my other video where someone asked me to write down the rotation, I thought it would be better if I actually showed it properly. So we start by buffing ourselves with Solar Barrage and then go to back bar and put down the Trap, Wall of Elements and along with Spear. Then you bar swap to main and use one after another Solar Barrage and Orbs, which is followed by the Ice Comet if it's up. And then we do 2 full heavy attack followed by Purifying Light and the bar swap. This time we put down again Wall of Element and Spear, but Trap goes to the end of rotation from here on before we swap back to the main bar, where once again the same rotation of Solar Barrage, Orbs, 2 heavy attack and the Purifying Light followed by bar swap to back bar. Now make sure to do a light attack in between every skill and bar swap, and also make sure that Wall of Element and Solar Barrage are activated on priority. Every other skill is secondary. I think this is one of the easiest rotations you can do on a Templar setup and still get very good results. Well, this shall wrap up the whole build. In case you have any further questions, feel free to post them below and make sure to check out the CP in the info section. I hope you like the build and it will help you in improving your own game. So once again, hit the subscribe and like button and I'll see you soon in the next video.